I'm making this video to walk you through the dashboard of your WordPress site. It can be a little bit confusing at first, but usually within 30 minutes or so, once people have looked around a bit, they get a sense of things. But hopefully in this video, I can speed that up and give you an idea of where everything is and what it's for. So we'll just start here with the top item in the top left. If you hit visit site, that's going to take you out to the front end of your site. Now, a couple things to note. If you do that and there's a coming soon page that shows up, sometimes it's not supposed to, but sometimes the coming soon page shows instead of your actual site, even though you're logged in. And what you can do is just hit refresh here, and usually that'll get the coming soon page to show away. But it's just a known WordPress bug that sometimes happens, but super easy to fix. So when you're looking at your site here, you can click around and move between pages just like you would if you weren't logged in. But you'll see there's a control bar at the top. And if you hit edit visual builder, then that'll get you into edit mode where you can make changes to your site. One thing that's important with Divi is do not hit edit page. If you do, it's going to break the whole look of your site. Now it's easy enough to recover, but it's just it'll be vexing. So just make sure that you don't use this edit page. This relates to the generic edit functionality that comes with WordPress. But Divi has its own page builder that's much, much more advanced on top of that. And so that's why you always need to use Divi's page builder. So that's one key thing to remember. Just always use enable visual builder to make edits to your pages. Okay, so we can go back out by just hitting dashboard, and this will take us back out into the main area. All right, so then working through the other items at the top, this relates to blogging. This is just showing if there are any comments on the site. We find that the majority of people who get sites built with us aren't heavy bloggers, and so this probably doesn't apply to most people, so I won't dive in there. And then here, this is just a sort of shortcut to add new posts or media or page. I don't use that myself ever, but it's there. I usually go in through the items on the left-hand side. And then here, Updraft Plus. This is a plugin that we install on all sites. This is a super important item. I won't get into it here because we've got another video that dives into that deeper. But if you have your website up for long enough, you're going to use this at some point. It'll be a lifesaver, just in terms of restoring a backup. Whether you change something and you want to get an older version back, or something could go wrong on your site and you've got some sort of critical error, and this plugin's just a godsend in terms of restoring it back to the way it was. So that's all I'll say about that, and we'll go deeper on a different video for that. Okay, then down along the left-hand side here, dashboard. That's the screen that we're on right now. It's not too useful, especially as it's set up right now because it has nothing on it. But as you add more plugins and whatnot, they'll want to put their own sort of functionality on there. I've got it turned off here, but a lot of them are just, it's not useful at all. Let's see here. Yeah. So anyway, we usually clean up the dashboard and leave that for like maybe if you had an analytics plugin and you really wanted to see your site analytics, or if you have a store and you want to see things like purchases, you could set that up here. But for the most part, I generally don't use the dashboard. Then you've got updates. This is useful, and you don't need to worry about it unless you see something here where it says it'll have like a red circle and a number in it, and that just means that there are items that need to be updated. So then you just click there, and you'll see under plugins or themes that something needs to be updated, and then you can just select it and hit update. And usually it might take like 30 seconds type of thing. It's quite quick for the updates on WordPress. So that's what that's for. Posts, this again is really for blogging. If you don't have a blog, you may never use posts at all. But if you're heavy into blogging, then this is where you would add new posts. And then you can manage the categories and the tags for your blog posts just to make them more organized for your readership, and then also helps out a bit with SEO. Then media, this is your media library is where you can go and find all of the items that have been loaded onto your site in terms of photos, icons, graphics, all that sort of stuff. Videos as well, audio files. So if you ever need to access that for some reason, that's how you would get in there. And then you can just hit add new there or there if you want to put a new photo on your site. You can also get in there through the page editor. And typically, if I'm adding a new photo to a site, I'm usually editing it from the page, and you can just drop the photo there. So I don't find myself going to the media gallery here all that often, but it exists. Pages is quite important. This is I would say the most important section and where I find myself working the most when I'm in WordPress. So this is the list of your pages. In this site, we've only got a few pages up. And you can enter your pages from here. First thing, well, you can view them by hitting view. If you have a page you want to delete, you can just trash it by hitting trash. Then edit is, let's go in there. So as I mentioned, you got to be careful when you're working with Divi, just with the edit buttons you hit. So it's okay to hit edit there. And when you hit that regular edit button, it takes you into sort of the core settings for the page. So things like a featured image, which relate to SEO, and then a bunch of the other stuff relates to blogging again. So probably you won't have to go in there all that often. But if you are in here, don't hit return to default editor. That again will most likely break your page, and then you're going to have to reset it. Again, you're not going to lose your content, but you just have to figure out how to reset it to use the Divi editor. And so, just avoid this button for sure. If you do find yourself in here and you want to edit your page, you can just hit edit with Divi Builder, and that'll take you into the normal edit mode. Okay, and then quick edit. This is if you want to change the status of a page. So let's say it's published and you want to put it into draft so that it's not public. That would be one way of doing that. You can change the name of the page, and then the slug. The slug is the part after your domain that shows up. So if you're on the home page, it would say /home. If you're on the reservations page for this restaurant site, it would say have the site name /reservations. And so you can go and change that. So if I wanted to change the name of that page to say reserve now, I could change it there. And then I can change the slug so that you get to that page, or when you're on that page, it says /reserve-now, for instance. You can also password protect pages, which is not super common, but the functionality does exist if you have a reason you want to do that. And then edit with Divi. So if you're in the page menu and you want to edit a page, you can, this is the easiest way to get there. It's just go into all pages, find your page, and then hit edit with Divi. And that will take you into the front end of your site, where you can then make edits directly to the page. I'm not going to get into that in detail here. We've got another set of videos that go into how to edit your site with Divi and do the different common things like change buttons and colors and photos. So I won't go any deeper there, but that is how you get into edit mode. Okay, so going back out to the left-hand side here, you've got comments. Again, this just relates to blogging, just like above, the same thing I said before. That would only apply if you're doing blogging and you have people leaving comments. Projects, this again is something that's not too common to use, so I won't get into that in detail. Appearance, you can make some core changes to the appearance of the site here. The most common thing would be customize. If you want to do something like change your logo or change the height of the menu. But I won't get into that. In most cases, if that stuff's already set, you won't need to worry about it. Menus, if you want to change the menu, that's actually quite useful. So yeah, if you want to change menu items around, this is where you would go about doing it. And then let's see, these items are not that common to use, so I won't go into those. Plugins, this is useful. So we've installed a core set of plugins, and some of those you'll see showing up along the left-hand side of your site, and then Updraft is one of them, for example. But if you want more advanced functionality or additional functionality, like let's say you want to link to your Instagram page and have a carousel of images showing up from your Instagram page directly on your site, that probably requires a plugin. And so this is where you would add them. You'd go plugins and then add new. And it'll take you to the plugin gallery where you can search and find all the plugins out there for WordPress. And there are tons of them, thousands, I'm sure. And then if you hit install plugins, this is where you'll find the plugins that are installed on the site. Users, I'll have made another video that went into the user toolbar and how to change the status of our user. So I won't jump in there. Tools, this is not particularly useful unless you've got a problem with your site. But hopefully you don't need to use that. Settings, sometimes if you install a new plugin, it'll show up in the settings menu here. So for instance, Updraft was not here until we loaded it in, and then it becomes part of the settings menu. There's also general, which is some of the core settings for the site. So if you wanted to change your site title, for instance, like what shows up at the top of the site here, you could do that here. There are a few other things like time zone and whatnot. I wouldn't fiddle around too much in here unless you really know what you're doing, and there's a key reason why you want to do that. Okay, and then let's see here. There's nothing else here that is too important except for Updraft. It's another way of accessing Updraft. But again, we'll go into more detail on another video about that. And then Divi, this is just core functionality or core settings for Divi. You can go in here because it's like very easy to follow. You're probably not going to get too off track if you go in here and change settings. So yeah, I don't discourage people from looking around here. So here you can change your logo. If you add a new logo and you want to upload it, this is another place to do it. You can do it in the appearance, customize, but it's easier to do here. Then they've got things like you can turn on Twitter icons and Instagram icons showing up at the bottom of the site. And if you were to do that, then this is where you'd put in the URLs for your social links. Let's see what else is crucial here. I would say that's about it. There are also lots of great videos on Divi. So if there is a core function that you're looking to change, because I'm not diving too deep on it here, if you go on YouTube and you type in anything about Divi, you're going to almost certainly find videos that show you how to make changes. And then we're also sending another set of videos along in this email that go through the common things of things that you'd want to know as you're setting up your new site and working around in the back end. Okay, so that's it for this video here.